Hey, real estate investors, savers, property owners, potential property owners. Oh my God, this is Jeff Taylor, your wealth architect. Why do people call me the wealth architect? Simply because my focus is on problem solving. And today, we're going to be talking about how do we build profit from debt with the trifecta formula. One of the reasons why I'm so excited about this is because in this particular case, I ran into an investor who was drowning in debt, right? And matter of fact, as I continue to tell the story, this may be someone that you know. He's in the Atlanta area and he had or has three properties. On paper, he looks successful, right? But in reality, he was suffocating in debt. And this is a common problem with real estate investors who feel that they're making progress or they look successful, but they are suffocating in debt. And every month, he was making mortgage payments on three properties. He had credit card payments from property repairs, and he was juggling inconsistent income. Again, another problem for real estate investors. And he told me, he says, man, I just feel like I'm working for the debt and not the deal. And I've heard similar stories and similar statements like that from investors who are drowning under the weight of the debt that they're carrying. So one of the things that I loved about Marcus is that he was open-minded and he was coachable. And I said, Marcus, listen, I'm going to show you something that's radical. I'm going to teach you a system that I utilize to help investors to turn debt into profit. He said, man, I'm not, you know what, I hadn't heard that before. I said, okay. I said, okay, just hear me out. I said, because if you continue to ignore it, you're going to set yourself up for failure. But I'm going to teach you how to transfer it, how to recycle it, and how to recapture the money that you've paid. This is very important because I'm going to teach you how to use the money that you've recaptured to create more wealth and more profits for yourself. So I'm going to walk through this on how I help Marcus and how you can use the same system to build a profit center. I call it profit center number 4, profiting from debt. Okay, so here's the lie. Debt is bad. Pay it off as fast as you can. And it's interesting, and I'm not trying to start any arguments here, but it's interesting how we can be told that it is good, but nevertheless, pay it off as fast as you can. It doesn't go together. But what if I told you that the fastest way to build wealth is to stop paying off debt and start profiting from it? Now, I'm not telling you to stop making debt payments. I'm not telling you to mess your credit up. That's not what we're talking about. But think of it this way. Let's just say that a $2,000 a month debt payment over 10 years is $240,000, right? Is that a lot of money? That's a lot of money. And that's relative to the situation that many of you are in over the next 10 years or the last 10 years. You've paid a half a million dollars, $250,000 to $500,000 in debt payments. What if you had recaptured half of that into a wealth engine in cash reserves? Where would you be right now? That's what markets never saw before, right? And so here's what we did. Number one, we identified the recurring debt payments. This is critical because what happens, again, with a lot of real estate investors is that we're not monitoring our debt payments. So markets had $2,500 a month going to mortgages, credit cards, and a vehicle loan. Step 2 is we want to open a strategic liquidity tool. In this case, we're going to use Index Universal Life and a HELOC. And together they became his banking system. Now, I know some of you have heard of something like this, but we take it to the next level because what we do is we utilize artificial intelligence type software along with cash flow management tools and debt cancellation, interest cancellation tools, and we blend it together to the benefit of the investor. This supercharges profits and eliminates debt, but it creates profit on the debt consistently at the same time. Step 3, we're going to redirect those debt payments. So instead of sending $2,500 a month to 5 different creditors, we're going to redirect those dollars into his Index Universal Life and pay debt off in a large strategic chunks. This is very, very important. So we're not just paying the debt off, but we're transferring the debt and absorbing that debt for the purpose of creating the 5 miracles of money on that debt. So number 4, we're going to recycle that money. So it's IUL was starting to grow, even while he had loans on his policies. We reused the same dollars to eliminate the debt, and then we reinvested it into cash flow tools. So he turned that $2,500 a month into an annual profit stream of $7,000 by year two. As a matter of fact, when we're using the trifecta formula, the objective is to create a debt transfer arbitrage. I know we come up with these big words, right? But just to give perspective to it, that speaks to the fact that we're going to literally be creating profit from the debt, and that profit that's going to be created on the debt is going to be phased into 5 different categories. So in this case, we want to use the lower cost debt to eliminate higher cost debt, right? We want cash value growth. The policy continues to earn interest even though we are using the money to pay off debt. And then we're going to do recycling velocity. So Marcus used the same $2,500, 3xing it per year. So that's $7,500 a year working for him without needing tenants, without having to do flips or new deals. Now, let's take a moment here. If what I'm saying, let's talk about this a little bit. Do you have a question? You can put it in the comments, or certainly you can reach out to me and set up a 15-minute Zoom session. But listen, we're not speaking against tenants. We're not speaking against flips, or certainly not new deals. What we want to do is maximize and to create several more tiers of wealth for you while you are adding more tenants, while you are doing more flips, while you're doing more deals. Okay. So what started as debt became a reserve fund. Investors know we need to do better with creating reserve funds. Not only reserve funds, but a loan pool, because oftentimes we may have reserves funds, but we can't use the money. It's in assets where we can't touch the money. That's kind of oxymoronic. And then we want to create profit centers from that debt. And he did that with the same budget. And that's very important because there are times when I'm working with an investor and the budget is tight, but we were still able to restructure and reposition his scenario and keep his budget the same. So you want to turn debt payments into lifetime profits? Am I saying something that makes sense to you? Here's what you need to ask yourself. What are your monthly recurring payments? Okay. What is the interest rate you're paying versus the one you can be earning? And let me add a bonus question in here. What is the rate of return that you are creating? Because there's a difference between the interest that is created within the policy and the rate of return that's created from the system itself. That's not going to be within your illustration. That's a separate ledger that we use within a calculator while we are utilizing other tools such as the artificial intelligence type software. So what would it mean if those payments went to a policy that paid you, to a system that paid you, to a program that paid you? So after 5 years of you making payments, you can actually see profits from those payments. And then with our tracking system, if you're part of our coaching program, we will meet with you at least every 90 days to go through your numbers to show you how powerful profits and how much extraordinary progress that you are making because you can literally track your progress. Okay, so what if your debt could be recycled into reserves? What if your debt could be recycled into monthly cash flow? What if your debt could be recycled into legacy accounts for your kids, or to pay for private school, or to pay for college? It doesn't matter. The whole point is that we want to take that debt and recycle it for other areas of your life. So that's what Marcus has now. He says he didn't increase his income, right? He didn't increase his income. What we did was just redirect the money where he had those financial leaks. So what's the cost of doing nothing? Let me be real with you. If Marcus had stayed on the traditional path of just paying down the debt the slow way, the traditional way, or overpaying, which makes it even worse, he would have lost over $300,000 in wealth building opportunity. Here's what he told me for the first time. I'm in control. My debt doesn't scare me anymore, and it serves me. That makes my heart warm. That's what fuels my excitement about being in this phase and time of my career, because when people talk to me, they can see hope, they can see opportunity, they can see other areas of financial progress that they weren't even considering. I love my job. And that's the key, ladies and gentlemen. So the trifecta formula doesn't just eliminate debt, it turns it into profit. Can you use more profits? So here's your assignment. Are you ready? You'll list out your monthly payments. You're going to schedule a profit session with myself and my team. Once we get your registration for your 15 minutes, it's just going to be a quick review, just 15 minutes, right? We're not going into the full version of this process unless you select a 60-minute risk assessment where there is a small coaching fee. But at any rate, what we're going to do is send you how to prepare for that appointment. Because it's only the free one is only 15 minutes, keep in mind, it's not going to be comprehensive. We're not going to be able to go through your whole picture, but it'll be just enough to give you a good start. So that if you're that do-it-yourself type of person, you'll have at least enough to get yourself started. Listen, let's map out your personal version of Marcus's story, because your profit center is hiding inside your payment center. Hey, I'll see you guys on the next go round. If you have a group or a church group or professional group, networking group that you love to have, we do a workshop or class, hey, let's talk about it. Let's see what I can do to help you guys move to the next level, show you how your profit center is hiding in your payment center. Take care now. You be blessed. Look forward to seeing you soon.